Okay, Siman Reish Vov. So now we're talking about mistakes made regarding brachas on fruit. So we touched on this recently. What happens if you pick up a fruit and you make the wrong bracha? So for example, you have a banana, the correct bracha for a banana is ber pradama, and you make a ber eitz on it. Or the other way around, you hold an apple, it's Tu B'Shvat today, topical. So you have an apple, and for some reason you make a ber pradama. Well, what is the halacha? So it says the Machabe in Siman Reish Vav Sif Aleph, Beirach al Peiras ha'ilon Beire Priadoma. If by mistake you made Beire Priadoma on a fruit, Yotza, but the Eved Yoyetze. Aval in Beirach al Pri Hadoma Beire Praetz, but if you made the Beire Praetz on a Hadoma, then Lo Yotza. And then no good. Hilkach, therefore, in Masupuk Bepri, in Prietz or Pri Hadoma, if you're not sure, is this a fruit or is it a vegetable? Mavarich Beire Priadoma, if there's because the Beire Priadoma, but the Eved would work. Valakol imam shahakol yotza vafilu apasviyain. If on everything you make a shahakol, but the eved you are yotza, even on bread and wine. So let's take a look. Beirach says Mishabura Sif Cotton Aleph. Hayil ve'ika ha'ilon hu min haaretz. Since at the end of the day the tree essentially comes from the ground. Velo shiker bebirchoso. It's not a lie to say ber priadama. Vafilu hazed b'zeh. Even if you did it on purpose and you made a ber priadama on a fruit, then you are yotza. However, if you made the ber praetz on a hadoma, then you're not. Says Mishabura Sif Cotton Base, Vafilu kashaperes gedein lo eitz, ach kashein ho eitz miskayim b'cherev lo yotza. Even on you made a ber praetz on a banana, for example. That was the example we gave. Now the banana, it's not like a potato. A potato is clear that it's from the ground. But even a banana, you could argue it's a bush, it's above the ground, it looks like a tree, and it's something we discussed the whole concept of banana. Still lo yotza to have a bichlal priadoma because it has the status of a beri priadoma, uchadilel b'simen reish gimel b'haga, etc. So even it says Mishabura very clearly, even though something is grown from if it has the status of a beri priadoma fruit and you make a beri praetz, lo yotza. Now, Koso Magen Avram Sif Cotton Gimel, v'oisen peres hagdenim al ilan, u'maverich beri priadoma. Those fruit that grow on a tree, and you make a beri priadoma, mishum delo nigma hapri oishe'enon ik hapri. Which we've learned previously, that if you make a bracha on a fruit which is sort of underdeveloped, it's not ripe, then you make a ber pradoma. In beirach ber proetz yotza. If you weren't aware of that, or you thought it was more ripe than it was, and you thought it was developed and it's a fruit, and you make a ber proetz, but you should have made a ber pradoma because it's not yet very ripe. Yotza, you actually are yotza. Kim da kol ponim min prietzu. At the end of the day, it is still a fruit, and if you just would have waited, it would have become a proper fruit. V'chein al peris ha'adama shetovin muvushalim yosem lechayin. And so too on ber pradama, which are better cooked than raw, which is the last simon we spoke about. Shedin levarich shahakol, that you make a shahakol on those because when you eat them raw. In beirach ber pradama yotza. So if you take a bite out of a raw turnip, or courgette or something like that, then on a raw thing, we said previously you make a shahakol, unless the minig is different, like we said with carrots. If by mistake you made a ber pradoma, then you are yotze. Okay, now if you're not sure if something is a priadoma, says the Mishabura Sif Cotton, then you make a ber pradoma. Says the Mishabura Sif Cotton Dalet, imhu prietz v'chein k'shil sofik le mitzaradin. And so too, for example, you're not sure what this fruit is. Is it a fruit? Is it a vegetable? Then you can make a ber pradoma. Avol, this is important. Imhu sofik lo machmas shelo lomad. If the person is unsure because he just doesn't know, he hasn't learned, then lo yochel yilmod. Don't eat until you've learned, right? So find out what the brach is. Put a text on the Dirshu WhatsApp group, right? Sifkat and hey. So then we said im oma shehakol yotza, and on everything, if but the eved you made the shehakol, you're yotze. Says the Mishabura Sifkat and hey. But really, strictly speaking, you've got to make the proper bracha on everything and not just sort of rely on shahakols. Take a look at 7 and 8, two interesting ha'aras. In birich shahakol al pas. So let's just finish off the Mishabura. And then the Mechaber said, even if you did it on wine or bread, then you're yotze. Says the Mishabura, even though they're important things. So three interesting ha'aras. Number one, Number 7, in birich shahakol al pas. Have you ever had this before? Maybe, you're sitting there, you've got Friday night, you've got a lot of guests, it's been a long week, and instead of making hamois lechem haaretz, you say shahakol nia bidvarei. Right? What happens? So we say, b'diavad, you're yotzeh. In birich shahakol al pas, you're yotzeh now. That's what the Mechaber says. But does that mean you're yotzeh for everything else in the meal? Yeah, well, what about the fish and the thing? So kosav Chaim shenifteres kol oisesuda b'mashe birich shakol alapas. It covers everything else as well. Yeah, it covers everything else as well. Me'idach Orach hashulchan kosav hapas shelefonov nifteres birich shakol v'loy mash mevim leachkach. So this is a machlekes. So the Orach hashulchan, it seems like Ashkenazi Sephardi poskim differ. Sephardim will say it covers everything in the meal, and according to the Orach hashulchan, Ashkenazi poskim, they would only cover that bread, but not everything else you eat. Okay, that's not point number 1. Point number 2, a very interesting one. What about mazonis? If you make a mazonis, let's say you're having your salad, or you're having anything, a fruit, and for some reason you make a beri minei mazonis on it. Does it have the same status as a shahakol? Because at the end of the day, shahakol nia bidvar means everything comes from you. And therefore, at some level, that's true, even though it's not the unique brach for this fruit. What if I make a beri minei mazonis? This is also going to sustain me. So look at this, in paragraph 8, footnote 8, v'chein b'di'eved, im birich ala kol beri minei mazonis, kosav v'ber halacha le'el, v'lekamon, in 2 places, sheyotza. If you make a beri minei mazonis for some reason on another type of fruit, another type of food, you're yotzeh. Mishum de kol mili mezin zayin chutz mimayim melach. Apart from water and salt, which are not sort of nourishing, you're yotzeh shekosav sheber minei mazonis ein poteres shama cholim. Okay, that's footnote that's the second point. Last point, number 10, very interesting thing. Tomorrow night, Friday night, you're making kiddush, and again, it's been a long week, and you stand up, and instead of making ber pragofen, you say shakol nia bidvarei. Yeah, says the Mishnah Berurah, says footnote number 10, v'oisa kiddush la'atzma v'lacherim, v'ta'u berich alayayin shahakol, kosav agon mishlam azam Orach. I mean, it's clear that you're yotzeh, because we said over here, you're yotzeh, that's the last line of the Mechaber. But what about those who listen to you? So it says, the shoymim ein ha-shoymim tzrichim lachzav v'levarech b'richas b'pragofen. Why? Ve'ein oimrim shebot la'ashlichus ma'ach she'enim roitzim b'bracha shel b'diavad. You could argue, you're being moitzi me, and you're my shliach to make kiddush for me, but to do it properly, you messed up. You made shahakol. Maybe that's bottle of shlichus. No, even the listeners are yotzeh. So if you stand, it's a long week tomorrow night, and for some reason you make a shahakol on your moitzi, but the eved you're yotzeh, you make a shahakol on your beri pragefen, you're yotzeh, and on your you yotzeh, even the listeners are also yotzeh. Doesn't cancel the shlichus. Okay.